So the air domain touches so many parts of our national security and our critical infrastructures.
I think if we say air domain, we immediately think about aircraft. Maybe we think about fighter jets or bombers. But the air domain actually starts on the ground, and it's enabled by space.
Parsons has been around for 81 years. We have the largest concentration of very mission-focused work. What we're really good at doing is understanding what a threat environment is and our ability to prevent, prepare, and prevail.
Parsons has evolved, and as technology and AI and as new innovative ways of looking and solving hard problems and hard challenges have come about, really trying to figure out how to solve those problems before they even come to the forefront of the battlefield.
I would say dominance by design in the air domain for us is very specifically focused on how do we integrate rapidly effective solutions for a variety of different customer mission sets.
Our ability to tackle tough problems quickly, to surge on things, and just that mission focus.
Time is our enemy, and the quicker we can get things out the door gives us that edge and gives the edge to our customers who are facing this threat day in, day out.
And when we build capabilities, we're building it so the Department of War or whatever customer we have has superior capabilities and can not only meet but exceed the adversary's capabilities in the air domain so that we win.
Missile defense, it's not a new problem. It's been around since as long as missiles have been invented, and it's a really complex problem.
The layperson probably thinks of missile defense as firing a missile at a missile, and the truth of the matter is it's a systems problem. There's sensor layers that have to be optimized in order to detect an incoming missile. There's tactics and procedures that have to be understood in terms of how are you going to encounter and defeat that threat.
I think what makes Parsons special is we sit very close to, and in some cases in mission. So we're solving hard problems that are operationally relevant today. We are certainly having to invent solutions. That invention comes from mission needs.
We also have this contract called Air Base Air Defense. It's for U.S. Air Forces Europe, mainly out of Ramstein Air Force Base. One of the things that we do, whether it be Counter-UAS capabilities, early warning center, and other things like that, is to build and integrate our capabilities, along with partners' capabilities, into a greater system to provide, in this particular case, Air Base Air Defense.
That's been incredibly challenging battlefield where we've had to layer integrated missile defense expertise over those decades and very quickly get it to the field in one of the most challenging operational environments.
The years of experience that we've gotten working with our government customers, developing solutions and being able to really hone skills that show that we are the world's experts in terms of the things that we do, represent why the government kind of has faith in us and we perform.
It has gotten hard to protect against one-way drones that have a munition or go to attack a population or soldiers or different things like that.
So it's a very rapidly evolving thing, and the attacks are very complex in the air domain. It's not going to be just a small swarm of drones. It's going to be drones coupled with cruise missiles, coupled with maybe manned fighters.
We are here to save lives. The drone threat is getting worse and worse every day. You're really starting to see the impacts. The people are choosing drones as their favorite method of asymmetric warfare now. This is the biggest threat to our soldiers on the ground, and it's rapidly becoming a threat to civilians.
Just the sheer rapid development of those threats is a real challenge. The technology to keep up with countering those. How do we develop solutions to combat that quickly? Because the threats aren't waiting for us to come up with the perfect solution. It really does need to be something that is able to deploy fast, is effective, and I think that's something that Parsons does really well.
It starts with having an understanding of what drone warfare looks like. We understand how the adversary works. We actually study their tradecraft. And then we build solutions based on that.
And that's kind of the key, is to be able to find the technologies that can very quickly be adapted, tailored, integrated to meet that evolving threat.
We have a pretty robust counter-UAS suite of capabilities. We have a program called Drone Armor. What Drone Armor does is it provides a C2 capability that allows you to understand the environment.
Our role is to bring together and integrate the best of breed technologies to this. And that includes everything from sensors to effectors, or things that'll take out a drone.
This is something that the world's going to need to keep everybody safe as fast as they can get it.
One of the enabling capabilities we have within Parsons and one of our recent acquisitions is a really foundational aspect of what they call the tactical assault kit, or sometimes team assault kits or team awareness kits on the civilian side. It's an ecosystem that allows common situational awareness across not only the Department of War, but federal, state, local municipalities, a common understanding, and to be able to move data across all those echelons and have an absolute single pane of glass, a single picture of what's going on. We demonstrated that recently, where our TAC ecosystem was one of the most critical elements of that when it came to CUAS awareness and those threats to that special event. What it allowed was for all those operators at both the federal, state, local entities to have that common picture, to understand the air situational awareness when it comes to threats in that space.
We do a pretty broad range of test and evaluation, and what I mean by that is all of the newest technology that's coming out on market, we're bringing in-house, and we do a thorough test, and then we actually fly them against different threat vectors to determine the viability. We also do rapid prototyping of our own capabilities out here, and then we of course have our command and control center here, which is where you would feature drone armor, and you get to see it in real time as we put drones up out here, and we're able to see how they fly against those different capabilities. It's our lead system integrator approach. It is such a differentiator. We take a vendor agnostic look at all the sensors and effectors that are on the market. And our job at Parsons, leveraging our drone armor solution, is to integrate the best of breed. And that means for one customer something different to another customer, because again, all those threats are distinctly different and they're protecting different assets. That lead systems integrator approach allows us to customize solutions, tailor them to a specific budget, specific requirements, with an open architecture that allows that solution to continue evolving over time. So it's a really unique way for Parsons to position itself in the market that, as we engage with our customers, they feel very interested in the ability to be an owner, be a partner in their solution. They're not receiving a one-size-fits-all answer. The way that Parsons continues to stay really competitive is through our rapid innovation and our agile approach to those threats.
At the end of the day, you need to understand what your command and control is for you to be able to have, both successful prevention and outcomes.
C2 Core Air is the thing that actually drives that air picture. It's the thing that actually sets the operational tempo and provides the information to commanders so that they can orchestrate how all of this is going to come together in the air domain.
So C2 Core is a collection of tools. We have an instance that does air planning. We have an instance that does space planning, cyber planning, special forces planning. So it's a wide variety of tools really centralized around that multi-domain operations problem, that you're not just planning for an air domain or a ground domain, you're planning for an all-domain or multi-domain mission.
There are a lot of C2 platforms and a lot of C2 capabilities that are out there. None of them have the breadth of the capability inputs that C2 Core has in order to be able to optimize it through just what really is a massive software enterprise, to be able to let a commander make decisions and figure out the optimal way in order to execute an air campaign. With that fabric, you'll have the ability, whether they're coming off of a carrier or the land, to be able to integrate and synchronize an air campaign globally. With C2 Core Air is being a critical Department of the Air Force program that's now running in every air operations center around the world for coordinating, orchestrating, and synchronizing our joint force that are wearing uniforms and actually trying to execute the mission on a daily basis. We actually have an enterprise approach where we look at the entire problem as a system, and we actually have dedicated business lines that work together to try to figure out how do we defeat that threat.
We built the system through our partnership, with AFRL to say, what do you as an operator need? How do you do your job, right? When you execute you're tasking, how do you do it? And we built the system with that in mind. Going back to dominance by design, the C2 Core Air is basically the epitome of that.
So our Paladin lab is inside the gates at Aberdeen Proving Ground, working very closely with our Army partners, our teammates in government and in industry, to be able to rapidly test out new capabilities against threats, prototype and iterate very quickly, and get those capabilities into the field.
Our solutions would not be where they are today, which is operationally in field and supporting customers, if it weren't for facilities like this in this integration lab that we have here.
One of the things that Parsons has recognized in developing drone armor and in being a lead systems integrator is we need a place to bring all these technologies together and to do integration rapidly, where we can fly drones every day, we can collect tons of training data for our AI/ML. We selected a facility about an hour outside DC in Summit Point, West Virginia. We have a full integration facility there. We've got lab infrastructure, we've got programming infrastructure, we've got a command center, and we've got a pad where we've got all the power and infrastructure that you need to pull together a system. And any given day on that pad, we've probably got 5 to 10 different Counter-UAS components from different vendors that they're loaning us to work with, to integrate with, or that we're using for a particular demonstration.
Down in Huntsville, same story. Our digital innovation lab there, our high base there, they're either right outside the gates or a stone's throw, so we can be working very closely with our customers and solving the problems that are most relevant to them. That's back to the system of systems approach of one silver bullet isn't going to solve counter-UAS. One silver bullet isn't going to solve integrated air and missile defense, but a good arsenal of them certainly can. There's work that we're doing today in defense and intelligence, largely that we can't talk about, where our capabilities are in the field saving lives. They're protecting U.S. forces and their allies, and we are making a difference today.
Parsons has been able to put together, through the combination again of what really exists through space, electronic warfare, cyber, battle management, command and control, the things that we believe represent the future of what is going to be needed by our country to deal with the most challenging threats.
I'm proud of what we do because we're protecting our country, we're protecting our warfighters, and we're somewhat protecting the future of our country, not just, for tomorrow, but for our kids and for our kids' kids.
The big one that sticks out for our team and what we focus on a lot is the users, right? We know it's the soldiers, it's our government customers that need this technology in their hands, guiding their missions, keeping them safe, keeping our infrastructure safe. That's really our guidepost.